All right. Tim Pool actually kind of made a good point. Just making sure that I'm not getting ganked or bumped while mining. For one, Eve Online wanted to put it out there that um, probably dedicating two of my three characters to the Kybernauts uh, thing. It's just at the moment I think I only have one who's even anywhere near flying a cruiser, and that's all there is to it. I mean, once you're down to a destroyer, unless you have like pretty high skill levels, from what I gather, or really great implants, it's just you're just not gonna be of much use. And so if there's anybody, I'm gonna put in the title. Um, if anybody, you'll find. I'll put in the description the characters. Hit me up. So like I need to get walked through it a little. Like how to get a little bit more experience so that I could be helpful. But I've gone onto the Discord and everything. I don't know if there's voice channels. I have no idea. Um, I figure that the Zeta fleet and the other fleet, I forget what the other one's called. Omicron, the Zeta fleet and the other fleet the Swarm fleet and Zeta fleet probably have their own Discord channels. I figure, or their own way of doing comms. Anyway, so getting a little too into Eve Online. I'm finally finding my gaming, my thing. Uh, and I was listening to Tim Pool, and there was something that he was talking about with the way that BLM is working. And earlier I made this video, and I was like, oh, this isn't it, or this isn't the thing. Okay, why the whole Marxist-Leninist thing was the big show out. Like Trump really actually has done a lot, because what he has done is he has actually presented to a whole lot of people, you don't have a choice. There's a whole bunch of people who are relatively normie normalsons, and they actually are now, they realize they have no choice. These are violent Marxist Leninists. The press is aiding the Marxist Leninists. There's all these people who are like kind of claiming that they're trying to help some great movement to deal with the police are just guns blazing, just killing the blacks, and you end up finding out that it's like more black people die in like car accidents or something. I mean, like there's like this huge list of things that like are likely to kill more black people in a year than police. And I think it's even also when it comes to shooting. So this is not even, the person didn't die, they got shot. Still, like way like dwarfed by, drinking and driving, that kind of thing. Driving under the influence and wrapping your shit around a telephone pole. So I've just been finding this kind of fascinating to realize that nobody's looking at any of the numbers. Just like, rates of infection or rates of death of COVID-19 compared to a whole bunch of other things that were in recent history that nobody shut down, like all the jujitsu dojos, all the restaurants. It's like when swine flu was around, no restaurants got shut down in America. So there's just a lot of stuff that I've been so the system works. The system works. It's that you when you're in the right, you have to work twice as hard. When you are correct, when you are actually factually correct, when you are arguing the moral and ethical point, it takes longer. It takes longer. Thomas Jefferson, I think what it was is that in the Virginia House of Burgesses or something, if I remember now right, that's where he tried to get like the abolition of slaves. I don't think it was during his presidency. I think it was when he was like in state office or something. I have to look it up again. But he tried to get, I think, manumission or just all out abolition of slavery, lost by a vote. So this was something that it was this long, generations long fight by people who had this idealist view, and that there was less than 5% of the population by the time the Civil War comes around that actually owned slaves at that time. So this was something that was slowly even phasing out of society as a whole. It was in other countries that it was being maintained as an absolute norm, unquestioned, totally unquestioned. It was only in the Anglo-sphere that this was extremely problematic. Not even revolutionary France really had a problem with slavery. From what I've gathered, I have not been given any idea that revolutionary France was, like, oh, now we know the revolution needs to go to Haiti, or something, and that, so, boy, we can't wait to work with them in the global brotherhood of revolutionaries, and we'll all eat baguette and drink wine, and sing songs together. That I do not get the idea that was what was really happening. So but that's one I've yet to study France and Haiti after the revolution. Both revolutions, not just two saints, not just France, but I mean after both, what was their relationship? So these Marxist-Leninists now have proven, well, that's their ethical structure, that's their moral structure. There's a lot of Democrats that sat back thinking, you are cray-cray, you are nut jobbo, talking about that these are Marxist-Leninists. I mean, like, so when knowing about what the dossier put out by Tactical Rabbit had to say, that this was a Marxist-Leninist organization, these people were avowed so, and just to approach it as, okay, well, according to what I've found about it, this is true, this is accurate. So what now I'm enjoying is that these people are admitting, yes, we are Marxist-Leninists, and they want to abolish fatherhood. There's just all these things about normal human life that they just don't like, and they're fundamentally anti-white racists. And this is now becoming obvious, and it's a movement that absolutely positively believes that violence is a great way to solve problems, and that really their worldview is that just humans are exceedingly violent. So you need to, it's just natural to be violent toward other humans. A lot of people who are like Democrats, like white liberals, they are not from a society, their society no longer believes in this. And so this was something that I was finding out about when looking at different things on education, that nobody wants to face that from the beginning of the 1900s and on, the use of psychology and child psychology and books on child rearing are one of the most popular things for literate people to read. The literate classes for 3 to 4 generations now have been improving their parenting skills in ways that, I mean, this is hard, people don't even understand the level of cruelty that children were treated with, the level of neglect that was relatively normal to the species until about the 1900s. And that now, I mean, we can't imagine a child going to bed hungry. That's literally said in ads. A world where no child will go to bed hungry. What for almost all of human time has been the norm. So America is a place that will literally try to cancel negative karma if it could. America is the kind of place that would kill death if it was possible. The system works. You just have to keep working at it. Judicial Watch, Mike Cernovich, all of this stuff with Epstein, all of it the system, it takes time. People want to criticize Cernovich and this, that, and the other. Oh, I'm sorry. Good thing you were working so hard. Good thing your important work had such important results for people and in the United States of America. Save it. Save it. The system worked. Dooming out, being a doomster, doesn't. Being like nothing matters, the Mexicans are going to take over, all this stuff, none of that matters. No, stop it. The system will work, it's just you have to use it. You have to actually keep at it. Constantly. One of the things I think really starting to get to a lot of people on the right is that they're just sitting there kind of like, but this is exhausting. That is why so many people like me, I've kind of got that still happy kind of nutty level of sort of spiritual verve, vim and vigor, going on. So I could think of it as, and also I have enough experience that I could look back and be like, I remember when I didn't get it. I remember when this idea, when these words, these terms, I remember when people started saying that stupid ass term, that ridiculous phrase. I remember that. And to sit and be like, and to just imagine, to sit there in horror and be like, I was there to see that madness begin 15, 20 years ago, 25 years ago. And I didn't see it. It didn't, something didn't seem right about it, but it just didn't occur to me what I was seeing. I couldn't imagine then what I know now. That is something that there's just no way of communicating. There's no way of communicating that. When suddenly you realize, oh, I helped evil a little. And then you realize, oh, well, so it could be reversed because I saw how it was done. There's more people like me out there than a lot of people want to think, who've really started to understand, like, no, Orange Man is just another guy in the office, but he's a particular change in this era. And now we're entering a new era, and this was somebody who saw it because he does business. He knew what he was seeing. He was seeing the trend lines. Luxury businesses, hotels, have kitchens that sell wedding cakes and champagne for weddings. He would have seen those numbers. His daughter sold clothing. They would have noticed that wedding dresses, people weren't spending the same money on them. It's that kind of thing that I've been having to think about. You have to know the system, work the system. That's the horrible, horrible cheat in life. Unless somebody tells you the game, you gotta play it. You need a coach. That's your dad, typically. Or a mentor of some sort. Some boss that showed you, like, okay, this is how you do this. A maven. The head chef or some guy on the line shows you how to do something. A little secret, a little trick. That's how the elite stay the elite. They know they have a coach. They have a coach. It's their family. It's their friends. And so there's been a lot of successes as far as little tiny incremental legal issues. This is why the press is panicking so much. This is why they're using every extrajudicial means. And now, white women are afraid of violence. Remember what I kept saying for years now. White women don't like violence. Now they're afraid of it. And they're not afraid of it from some cowboy. They're not afraid of it from Dudley Do-Right. They're not afraid of it from Normie Normalson. They can't say it out loud. And also then, there's all those goddamn junkies. Let's be honest. They're everywhere, aren't they? All over the place, aren't they? Wherever you are, any population center of probably about 100,000, 200,000, maybe 50,000 and greater, a whole bunch of homeless people and junkies around, aren't there? Do you have a Democratic mayor? Lots of Democrats in the city council? A lot of junkies around, aren't there? On the West Coast, a lot of fucking junkies around, aren't there? She doesn't like that. No. McKaylee, Kayla, they hate that shit. That's not fabulous. At some point, especially then, all of those wonderful baby boomer women, they want to be fabulous again. They want to have a fabulous time with their friends. They're so done with this. This is so lame. They're so over it. So, it's just a matter of time, but it's going to have to hurt. It's bitter strength. Bitter strength. Cooley. It's bitter strength. You gotta accept that it's the reason why greens are good for you is because they're bitter. They're bitter green. So it's dandelions are purgative. You know, dandelion greens are a purgative. So, just got to give it time. God waits. As Michael Savage says, taking his word for that one. He knows a lot. All right, well, back at a rock, getting some solid pyroxers, I don't know. And yeah, so if anybody wants to hit me up about some Kybernaut fleet action, what you would suggest I do to become particularly useful to that because that's gonna be fun. This is gonna be fucking fun to see how CCP works this. This is gonna be amazing. This is like being in Star Wars as the story's written and you're helping write it. It's fucking dope. Yeah. It was Ashtarothi that got me into this. But yeah, there's some thoughts for the day. The Marxist-Leninist. Nobody wants to be a Marxist-Leninist. It's not sexy. It's not. And once you're past a certain age, it's goofy. It's goofy, and it's one of these things like somebody would be like, Marxist-Leninism? You know, like, I mean, you know, it's one of these things. It's just too many people. Like, what are you, a nut job? You know, like, it's just, yeah. And then there's the people who were raised under those governments who moved here. Now that they have people saying the name Marx and then Lenin, you know, they're not fooled. These people are staying nice and fucking quiet. They don't have to say anything out loud. They speak another language natively. They know what the fuck's up. They're not total fucking morons. It's going to take a little while long because there's this, remember, it's not getting cooler. August ain't going to be cold. People are going to be out. That heat, that Indian summer's going to start getting, it's going to start getting in that Marxist-Leninist brain, making them do crazy things. They're already just shooting people. Hey, it's New York City. Are you black? I'm black too. You know, it's, you know, yeah, black power, look at that. My black Glock. You know, my big black Glock. Let me share some of my big black Glock with you. That's, I mean, just, what the hell's yeah. They do. They don't want to police. They want to be crazy. They want to be Marxist-Leninists. And white women don't like violence. And then the beautiful part is all these people are moving, and the next thing is, well, we need to, get our papers in order, and our, all our stuff, our address stuff. What's up with the DMV? And that's the next one. What's going on with the DMV? Why aren't you opening the DMV? Why are we still using this antiquated form of because now the DMVs are testing using outside companies. Why are we still dealing with the ID system via the DMV? The system works. You just have to know how to use it. Oh, now that this has been shut down for months, and you all are so afraid of contacting the public, maybe, just maybe, this bullshit needs to be totally revamped. It turns out there's a whole bunch of people in the government that their department's been shut down too long. They're out of a job for good. They're a part of this shit. That was when I found out. I was like, oh, and I still got to look up who lost their jobs, pretty much. But that's one of the things about this. There's a whole bunch of people who used to work for the government. Now they're probably in the streets doing all this protesting, blah 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 blah, because they don't have a fucking job now. They're gonna go back, and they're gonna have to go back to whatever the agency starts throwing your resumes around government departments. They're gonna have to try to find a job doing something. They're gonna have to compete against people with experience. Oh wait, what's the government hiring now? People with experience rather than degrees. Oh shit.